Today on Ancient Artifacts, I talk about a rock found in Iraq. I'm Brad Hafford, archaeologist at the University of Pennsylvania and field director at the ancient city of Ur. And right now I'm sitting on what we call the East Mound. It's just away from the main site itself, just across an ancient waterway, about 200 meters from the ancient city wall. What we're trying to do is find out how people lived outside the city and compare it with the way they lived inside. We've done a lot of excavation inside the city walls. Now we're looking at what might be called the immediate suburbs. We think maybe this is an area where they were doing some crafting, making various things. And today's artifact is this stone. Well, it looks kind of boring, but stones are very important here in Iraq because you don't find them naturally. This means that it has been imported from as far away as the Zagros Mountains. So any rock that we find here is important, and we must look at it because they've brought it in for some reason. The Euphrates is a slow-moving river for the most part, and it carries a lot of silt. It might have a few small river pebbles, but something of this size, it's never going to be able to carry down here. Now, this rock has been smoothed, but it was brought in, and there are damage indications. So a chip out of it right here, and all along the edges, it looks like it's been used for pecking or pounding. So as a hammerstone, it's been used to hit something else, other pieces of stone maybe, to knock them into other usable pieces that might make other tools. Well, that alone is interesting, but we find quite a few of those. Pretty typical. When you've got a rock, turn it into a hammer, basically. But this one has another very interesting point. There is a kind of divot in the underside. The underside is pretty flat. The upper side, that I think I'm calling it the upper anyway, is rounded and it fits in the hand very well. That makes it good for a pounder, but it also makes it good for what this divot means. That has been drilled, basically, but not intentionally drilled this way, but rather it's a drill cap. They used what we call a bow drill for fairly obvious reasons. You would use a kind of bow that has a string. The string is wrapped around a reed or some other straight stick, and at the bottom of that you've placed a copper or bronze drill bit. When you move the bow, it moves the string, which twists the reed, and that makes the drill work. Now, the biggest problem, though, is keeping it stable. You need something at the top to hold it down, put pressure on it. You can't use your hand because your hand will get drilled by the other side, even though there's not a bit there. So you need a rock like this. You make a bit of a divot, and then you hold that on top of the drill, and you spin away. So that shows us something about manufacturing. The drill itself, maybe we're going to find the bit, but we're not going to find the drill shaft. We will find the drill cap, and we know that that's the kind of activity they were doing. Now, they used drills like this to do a number of things. In the earliest periods, to drill stone bowls, and also to decorate things, to make things like beads, to cut holes in other stones, and to decorate cylinder seals, to make all these intricate carvings. But they also might use something like this to generate a lot of heat, and you might have a fire drill. You use a bow in order to get enough heat to start a fire. A lot of things that this stone tells us. That's why I like it so much. And it was found right here where I'm sitting. This looks like a fairly boring excavation unit, but in fact it's revealing a lot of things like this. Stones that are used as tools and also raw materials. There are bits of copper throughout this and all sorts of things that they were using probably to make other things. And this is supporting the idea that this may be a crafting area just outside the city. So maybe they're generating a lot of smoke here. They don't want to do that inside the city. They do it out here instead. They make a lot of things and then they send the finished products into the city walls themselves. So, a lot we can learn from this stone, and I hope you enjoyed exploring it with me, and I hope you'll join me again next time on Artifactually Speaking.